It doesn't matter if you were pulled over for no, listen to me. This is why we're hearing stuff all over in the news. It doesn't matter what you think. If a cop pulls you over, then you take the ticket for not wearing your seatbelt.
And right here is the moment this hearing starts getting serious. What began as a simple seatbelt stop somehow snowballed into felony court, and the judge is clearly frustrated that accountability still hasn't happened. One bad decision during a traffic stop can completely change someone's future. But do you think the situation escalated too far, or was this entirely avoidable?
Attorney involved on the first time when I was appointed.
Yeah, she pled in May of last year with full deferred to Tom Burbank.
So nothing else was done as far as them talking to Miss Johnny about acceptance of responsibility.
The only thing Miss Johnny said, they called and asked her for her updated address, and that was it.
Okay. So, Miss Johnny, I'm going to ask you again, and I know we probably went through this before. First of all, you're Kirsten Johnny. And Miss Johnny, I want to make sure, because in that previously you said you didn't do it, you were forced to do it because of your financial, you were forced to plea because of your financial situation, and that it wasn't fair. And so tell me what your position is now.
I never really said I didn't do it. I said it was an accident.
Okay.
I still feel the same way a little bit.
All right.
I'm not gonna I do feel the same way.
Now I understand, but you're not disagreeing that you didn't.
I said it was an accident. Somebody grabbing you by your foot. That's like somebody accident hit you in the back of your head. You're gonna have some that's normal.
What? Right. Because you were not complying with what they told you to do to get out of the car, correct?
I was pulled over because I was in the high road. I stay in the area. I was pulled over because...
Hang on. Don't talk yourself out of this again. Because if you want to talk yourself out of it, we'll put it on the trial docket and we'll get it done in a few weeks and let a jury decide. Look at me. I'm actually trying to help you right now. Okay? If you had complied and just done what he asked you to from the very beginning of that stop, none of this would have happened. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yeah.
No, do you agree? Listen to the question. Do you agree with that statement or do you disagree with that statement?
I don't know why.
You don't like it, do you? You don't think he should have done that?
It's not that. I feel like we was pulled over for no reason. If you follow...
It doesn't matter if you were pulled over for no... Listen to me. This is why we're hearing stuff all over in the news. It doesn't matter what you think. If a cop pulls you over, then you take the ticket for not wearing your seatbelt. This is all over not wearing your seatbelt. And here you are in felony court and you're still not taking responsibility for the fact that he said, hey, ma'am, do this. And you said, I don't think you should have pulled me over. So I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And I'm going to lodge my foot against the door and I'm not going to get out. I'm going to make you drag me out of my car. And then I'm going to kick you because you shouldn't have pulled me over in the first place. When all you had to do was get your...
That may have been the most important statement in the entire courtroom exchange. The judge is basically laying out how a routine citation allegedly turned into a second-degree felony, not because of the stop itself, but because of the resistance that followed. And notice the tone shift here. This is no longer about arguing whether the traffic stop was fair. It's about choices made after the stop began. At this point, the courtroom tension is absolutely through the roof.
This courtroom exchange became a powerful example of how a simple traffic stop can escalate into a serious felony case when emotions override judgment. The judge repeatedly emphasized that the original issue was minor, a seatbelt violation, but the defendant's refusal to comply with police instructions allegedly turned the situation into a much more serious legal problem. Throughout the hearing, the court focused heavily on accountability, personal responsibility, and the importance of following lawful orders during police encounters, even if someone believes the stop was unfair or unnecessary.
Think it would be a better idea next time you're pulled over to comply and just do what they ask you to?
Yeah.
And Your Honor, just for the record, our Miss Johnny did review the video with me in my office, so she is aware of what all transpired. She saw it.
Do you have any reason to believe she shouldn't be pleading to this from what you saw?
I do.
So, I mean, you even saw how you acted. It's probably a good idea. All right. I'm going to find that you previously entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. I'm going to follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney. I hope you prove me wrong on this, because I really have some concerns that you're going to be able to be successful, because you're not taking responsibility and you're not wanting to follow directions and things like that. And you're about to have 4 years of having to follow directions on probation. So I'm going to defer all proceedings for 4 years. You're ordered to pay a $500 fine. You're ordered to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. If you do that, this is a great opportunity today, because you are not a convicted felon. You don't have that conviction on your record. And if you successfully complete it, follow all of the rules, you will never have a felony conviction. At the end of your probation, the case will actually be dismissed. The other side to that, though, and this is really important for you to understand, because we've had this conversation now so many times, I'm not likely to forget you. And you can ask anybody, and Ms. Holmes has known me for a long time. It's not usually good when I remember people, right? So if you violate your probation, you'll get brought back into court. You could be found guilty.
This is the courtroom equivalent of a final warning shot. The defendant is being offered something many felony defendants desperately hope for, a chance to avoid a permanent conviction. But the judge makes it crystal clear: probation is not freedom without consequences. One violation, one bad decision, and this could quickly turn into years behind bars. Do you think the court gave her a fair second chance, or should the punishment have been harsher?
But I was told that even though you say that, it's still going to be on my record.
So the arrest is on your record. The arrest will always be on your record. But so if you're asked a question on a filling out an application for a job or something, if it says, have you been convicted of a felony? The answer is no. But if it says, have you ever been charged with a felony, or are you on probation for a felony? You are going to have to say yes to that. But the conviction part is still better than nothing, not having that conviction, right? Okay, have a seat in the courtroom. Watch for probation to call you up.
Another key moment in this hearing was the judge explaining the difference between an arrest record and a felony conviction. Although the defendant avoided becoming a convicted felon through deferred probation, the judge warned that violating probation conditions could still lead to prison time and a permanent felony conviction. The court ultimately offered her a second chance, but also made it clear that future non-compliance, refusal to follow directions, or probation violations could have life-changing consequences.